I want to start today with a shared trauma. It's a specific memory I think pretty much everyone listening has.
Okay.
You're in a conference room, it's maybe 2 in the afternoon. You're sitting across from a VP of sales or, the head of market, someone who moves fast and breaks
The
things.
people who view process as a four-letter word.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And you have this unenviable task of explaining why they need to care about data governance.
Hmm.
You start talking about data lineage or master data management or, heaven forbid, metadata repositories, and you just watch the life drain out of their eyes.
Oh, yeah, the gloss over. It's not just boredom. They're actively planning their escape route from the room.
I tried to explain the concept of a golden record to his CFO once, and, well, he looked at me like I was trying to sell him a timeshare on the moon.
It's a massive communication breakdown.
It is. Because we know this stuff is vital, right? It keeps the company from getting sued or going broke. But to them, it just sounds like bureaucracy designed to slow them down.
That's the core tension. You're selling the mechanics of the engine, the valves, the pistons, and they just want to know if the car's going to get them to the beach before sunset.
Exactly. So today isn't a deep dive into technical standards. We're not debating SQL versus Python.
Nope.
We are diving into a stack of resources focused on one thing:
Yeah.
persuasion. Specifically, we're looking at the Data Governance Analogy Toolkit. And we are zeroing in on one specific tool that I think is the silver bullet for that meeting with the VP.
The vending machine.
The letter V for vending machine. Now, I have to be honest, when I first saw this in the source material, I kind of rolled my eyes a little.
I get that.
It felt a bit simplistic. Like, are we really reducing these complex data architectures to a Snickers bar?
It feels that way at first,
Yeah.
but the brilliance of this analogy is actually how visceral it is. Everyone, from the intern to the CEO, has had a fight with a vending machine.
That is very true.
It taps into a universal frustration.
The rage of a stuck bag of chips is universal.
Yeah. Exactly. And that rage is the emotional hook we need to explain why governance matters. The goal of this deep dive is to give you a script.
A playbook.
Yeah. By the end of this, you should be able to walk into that office and sell the concept of governance without ever using the word governance if you don't want to.
Okay, let's do it. Let's set the scene. In this analogy, the vending machine represents the organization's data architecture.
The delivery system.
The delivery system.
I mean, think about what a vending machine actually is. It's a self-service platform. You have a need hunger, or in our case, a need for insight, and the machine has the inventory. You don't need to call a chef. You don't need a waiter.
Right.
You walk up, you interact with the interface, and you get your product.
That is the self-service analytics dream we've all been chasing for the last decade, isn't it? The dashboard.
It is. But we need to start with the nightmare, the ungoverned experience, because that's usually the reality the business stakeholders are living in, even if they don't have the terminology for it.
The source material paints a pretty grim picture here. It outlines 3 specific failure modes of the vending machine. And I think we should walk through these because they map so perfectly to the complaints we hear in data teams.
Let's do it. Failure mode 1, the coil spin.
Oh, this one's painful.
Yeah.
You put your money in, which let's just say represents budget, time, political capital, and you press A1 for the chocolate bar. The coil whirs. It does that little hopeful turn, and nothing. The bar just teeters on the edge but doesn't drop.
Data unavailability. You ran the query. The system tried, but you walked away empty-handed.
In the business world, this is the meeting where the numbers just aren't ready.
Yeah.
It's the, we're still crunching them.
Frustrating, for sure. But I would argue that's not the most dangerous failure.
No, I agree. Failure mode 2 is the dangerous one. The source calls this the stale crisp scenario, or stale chips, depending on where you're listening.
This one really hurts.
It does. You press A1, the machine works perfectly, a bag drops, you open it up, you take a bite, and it's stale. Or worse, it's not what the label said it was. Yeah. You wanted salt and vinegar, you got unflavored cardboard.
This is a data integrity issue, and this is where executives lose their minds.
Completely.
Imagine the VP of sales pulls a report. The numbers, they look right, the format is perfect, but the data inside is from Q3 of last year. Or it has tested data mixed in with production data.
That's the A1 equals C4 problem. You asked for the sales report, which is A1, and the machine gave you the marketing leads, which is C4.
Exactly. And think about the consequence of that. If a vending machine takes your money and gives you nothing, you're annoyed. If it gives you a product that tastes like sawdust or makes you sick, you feel betrayed.
Betrayed is a strong word, but I think it fits.
I think it's the right word. Because you trusted the interface, you trusted the label. The ungoverned experience is basically a lucky dip, a gamble.
Yeah.
Maybe you get the data, maybe you don't. Maybe it's accurate, maybe it's not.
And businesses hate gambling with their operations. But there's a third mode the toolkit mentions. The stuck product.
The latency issue. You press the button, and the bag gets stuck against the glass. It's right there. You can see it, but you can't get to it.
So you're just standing there shaking the machine, banging on the glass.
And while you're shaking the machine, the market is moving. Your competitor is already eating their snack. By the time you shake that data loose, by the time the report finally loads or the query finishes, the decision point has passed.
So we have a broken machine. We have angry, hungry people. Now, here is where the analogy gets really interesting for me. The source talks about what people do when the machine is broken. They don't just starve.
No, of course not. Humans are resourceful. If the office vending machine steals your money twice, you stop using it. You walk out of the building and go to the corner store down the street.
The corner store. This is shadow IT, isn't it?
It is the perfect metaphor for shadow IT. The corner store is reliable. You hand over cash, you get a snack. It's fast. There's no red tape.
Just put it in Excel. Do it on my desktop.
That's it. I'll just ask Quiet Dave from accounting to email me the spreadsheet. That's the corner store. And for the business user, this feels like a solution. But for the organization, this is a total nightmare.
Let's unpack why it's a nightmare, though.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the VP, I'm thinking, who cares? I got my data. The corner store works.
Right. Well, the corner store has no receipts. That means no audit trail. If you get sick from the food, there's no record you even bought it there.
So compliance risk.
Huge compliance risk. Plus, the corner store is cash only. It's unsecure. And maybe most importantly, the corner store doesn't scale.
Right.
If the whole company needs lunch, that little shop can't handle it. You end up with silos. Marketing is eating from one shop, sales is eating from another, and nobody's numbers match.
So when we sell governance, we aren't just selling better data. We're selling the idea of bringing everyone back from their corner stores to a central machine that actually works.
Precisely. We want to stop the lucky dip.
Yeah.
The source material boils the entire goal of governance down to a very simple mantra. Choose A1, get A1.
Choose A1, get A1. It sounds almost too simple to be a corporate strategy.
But that's what makes it powerful. It implies boring predictability.
And boring is good.
In operations. Boring is beautiful. You want your payroll to be boring. You want your flight safety checks to be boring. And you want your data delivery to be boringly predictable.
Okay, so let's build the governed vending machine. What makes it different from the broken one? The source breaks this down into two main components.
Right. The glass front and the internal mechanism.
Let's start with the glass.
The glass front. This is your transparency. In a vending machine, the glass lets you verify the product before you commit your money. You can see the bag, you can read the label.
This is the metadata, right? The data catalog.
Yes, exactly. Think about the label on a snack. It tells you the ingredients, the nutritional value, the expiry date. In a governed system, transparency means I can look at a data set in the catalog and see who owns this, when was it last updated, does it contain PII?
So if the glass is dirty, if we have bad metadata, I can't tell if that's a Snickers or a Mars bar until after I've bought it.
Or worse, someone put the wrong label on the slot. You press A1 for revenue, but the machine is actually stocked with profit. That's a metadata failure.
Okay.
Governance is the Windex. It keeps the glass clean. It ensures the label A1 matches the product that's actually sitting behind it.
I love that idea of the data steward as the person with the Windex.
It changes the perception of the role, doesn't it? They aren't policing the data. They are making sure you can see what you're buying.
Right. Then we have the internal mechanism, the coils, the motors, the stuff nobody thinks about until it breaks.
And this is the reliability aspect. Governance is the maintenance schedule. It's the process that checks. Is the motor for A1 rusted? Is the coil bent?
So this is the data pipeline, the ETL processes.
Correct. But here's the shift in perspective. Usually business users don't care about the pipeline. They just don't.
No.
But if you explain it as, we need to service the machine so your snack doesn't get stuck, they get it. They understand maintenance. They understand that if you never oil the machine, eventually it jams.
So when we say governance, we're essentially telling the business, we are the maintenance crew ensuring you get A1 when you press A1.
And that builds trust.
Trust is the currency here.
It is. If the machine works perfectly 10 times in a row, boring, predictable delivery, you stop even thinking about the corner store. You trust the system. And when you trust the system, you start making decisions faster.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Please do.
Because I can hear a listener thinking, this is great, but my stakeholders are tough.
Yeah.
What if the stakeholder says, I don't care about the machine, I just want the data? Why do I have to fill out these forms? Why do I have to define my terms? Can't you just do it?
That is the classic pushback. Governance is homework.
Exactly. I'm busy selling, you do the data entry.
The vending machine analogy helps here too. You turn it back on them. You ask, okay, if we don't define these terms, if we don't put labels on the slots, how will anyone know what they're getting? Do you want your sales team pulling total revenue when they meant net revenue?
You make it about community safety.
You make it about their team getting the wrong snack. You explain that filling out the forms, the metadata, is just printing the label for the slot. If they don't print the label, the next person is guessing.
Right.
And nobody wants their team guessing with company data.
It reframes the administrative burden as a necessary step for delivery, not just for compliance.
It shifts the conversation from rules to service. We aren't the data police telling you what you can't eat. We are the vending machine technicians making sure the machine is stocked and working.
Now, there's one more layer to this analogy that the source material touches on, and I think it's kind of the advanced class version of this conversation. We've talked about the machine, the delivery mechanism, but we haven't talked about the truck that's parked outside.
The supply chain.
This is where I think a lot of data programs fail. They build a beautiful, shiny vending machine. The glass is polished, the coils are greased, the interface is slick. But the supplier backs up a truck and loads the machine with rotten sandwiches.
The garbage in, garbage out problem.
But framed through logistics.
Yeah.
If I press A1 and the machine works perfectly, and I get a sandwich, but the sandwich is moldy, did the machine fail?
Technically, no. The machine did its job. Choose A1, get A1. You chose a moldy sandwich, you get a moldy sandwich.
But the user experience is an absolute failure.
100%. And this is where you introduce data lineage to that executive. You say, look, we can build the best dashboard in the world, that's the machine, but we also need to govern the supply chain.
Right.
We need to know where the ingredients are coming from.
Who is the supplier? Is it a manual entry from a spreadsheet in HR? Is it an automated feed from Salesforce?
Exactly. If we aren't vetting the supplier, if we aren't governing the data at the source, then the vending machine is just a very efficient system for delivering bad news.
That's a powerful line. A very efficient system for delivering bad news.
It usually gets their attention. It helps them understand why we need to go upstream, why we need to talk to the people creating the data, not just the people consuming it.
So, practically speaking, how does our listener use this tomorrow? They have that meeting on the calendar. What's the opening line?
I would start with the pain. Don't start with the solution.
Okay.
Start by asking, do you feel like you're getting a lucky dip when you ask for reports?
Or do you trust the snack you're getting?
Right. And when they say, no, I have to check it 3 times, you say, okay, that's a vending machine problem. The machine is jamming or the labels are wrong. Data governance is just the plan to fix the machine so you can choose A1 and get A1.
Keep it focused on the outcome, predictability.
And if they push back on the cost or the time, you bring up the corner store. We can keep doing what we're doing, but that means everyone is running to their own corner store, and we have no idea what they're buying or how much they're spending.
Fear is a great motivator.
It is. But ultimately, you want to move them from fear to relief. The promise of the governed vending machine is relief. It's the relief of knowing that when you need a number for a board meeting, it will be there and it will be right.
Boringly right.
Boringly right.
We've covered the glass front, which is transparency, the mechanism, which is reliability, the corner store for shadow IT, and the supply chain, which is lineage. It's a complete narrative kit.
And it's flexible. You can use just the stale chips part if you're talking about quality. You can use the glass front if you're trying to sell a data catalog. It's a very modular analogy.
Before we wrap up, I do want to direct people to the source. This V for Vending Machine is just one part of the data governance analogy toolkit. If you want to dive deeper, where should they go?
You can find the full toolkit and more resources at www.dgspecialist.com/podcast. They also have a YouTube channel at DG Specialist, which has some really great visual breakdowns of these concepts.
Visuals always help.
They do.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to explain why metadata management isn't just filing paperwork.
So here is my challenge to you, the listener. The next time you see that gloss overlook in a meeting, just stop. Stop talking about columns and rows. Take a breath and ask them about the vending machine.
See if you can get them to admit they're tired of stale chips.
Once they admit the problem, selling the solution becomes easy. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Good luck with your machines, and we'll see you next time.